forward to the cloud. Okay, you're recording.
All right.
Now you can stop.
It doesn't show that it's recording on anybody else's screen except yours, right? Oh yeah, it does. I see it. Never mind. Okay. So this program is supposed to be all about who the heck is Lisa Muller, right? I'm gonna let you in on a few deeply guarded secrets today, so get ready. I want to start by saying thank you to Brian and Linda, even though Brian's not here, and especially Paul McAfee, again not here, but for inviting me to this club. And let me share my screen, see if I can figure out this technology part of this. Okay. Can you see it?
Yes.
All right. Let's see if I can actually make this work properly. Okay, so no, it doesn't want to work. Hold on. Oh, there we go. My classification in Rotary is event planner and publicist, and I do celebrity personal management, which means personal appearance, booking agent. I don't do any of the theatrical stuff as far as movies, TV, and all that stuff, just their personal appearances and red carpet events. I am a life coach for personal and home management services, publicity services for not only celebrities but for companies and for other individuals like authors and that kind of thing, press releases and that sort of jazz. And then travel services, which is a lot of fun. That just kind of fell into place with a lot of the personal appearance bookings that we were doing, and that works out really, really well. I'm affiliated with a travel agency in Burbank, California. And I'm also a Disney certified travel agent. You'll see a lot of Disney photos over time when you are seeing things coming from me, because I'm a little bit of a Disney addict and a cruise expert, and of course the security services for the celebrities. I'm trying to figure out, see, this is the technology part here. There's a bar in front of everything that I can't see my own screen. Okay. Why is it so slow to respond? There we go. Did I skip something? No. Okay. All right. And so my Rotary Club and district involvement, I've been a Rotarian since 2005 with 100% attendance. And I've been a district officer in a couple of different capacities. I've been on the district governor's team for district governor visits. That's probably how I started doing a lot of the round robin of the different clubs within my district at the time, and working with the district governor, being on his entourage when he actually went to all the district governor visits to each of the clubs. I've been a district publicist and webmistress, which means I was doing the websites, the newsletters, and the district directories, which all were quite time-consuming, and thank goodness I had a couple of really incredibly good interns at the time. Can everybody mute themselves, because I'm hearing like a feedback from somebody's wind on their microphone? Thanks. Okay, and so I also work as a publicity consultant for numerous clubs, press releases mostly for their events in the local community and any service projects that they were doing locally that they wanted to involve the community in or get news coverage for. And then I've been to 3 of the Rotary International Conventions, Salt Lake City, Los Angeles, and Montreal. And I've attended and exhibited at all 3 of those. And I've been a guest speaker at Rotary clubs and conferences with mostly the topics of event publicity and membership development. And with my celebrity work, I get to enjoy a lot of really unique experiences and being involved in everything from the Shatner Horse Show for the last 20-plus years to all kinds of pop culture conventions. The pop culture conventions and the sci-fi shows, I've probably been to more than 400 of them at this point. I kind of stopped counting around 200, I think. But there's quite a lot of those that go on, and they're a lot of fun, and I bring my celebrities to a lot of them. And then, of course, I mentioned Disneyland before. It's my preferred home away from home. I get a lot of inspiration there, and I kind of consider Walt Disney to be my personal mentor, even though I never met him and he died when I was a child. But I've learned so much about him, and I've studied so much about his history and the documentaries about the creation of Disneyland that I feel like I knew him, but I never met him. And of course, Hollywood Adventures. And my personal joys do not include motorcycles, unfortunately, but it does include the other kind of fair weather sport, which is flying private aircraft, and of course dogs. My beautiful baby there that you see on the left side of that picture, on my right in the picture, and his girlfriend Juno, and that was at the Grand Canyon where we met that little girl, and she actually lives in Fullerton, California, which is right near where I work, so there's opportunities for doggy play dates, which is so much fun. Now, my favorite part of Rotary, absolutely without exception, is the Rotary Fun and Fellowship. Every time I go to a new Rotary Club, every time I'm in a new city for work, if I have the opportunity during the week to attend a Rotary Club meeting, sometimes I can go to weekend functions if there are such things. One of my favorite experiences in Rotary was going to a barbecue fellowship event at a past president's house in Juneau, Alaska, that I just kind of stumbled upon. I didn't even know it was happening at the time, but I found out about it, and the Rotarian contact that I had there invited me, and she actually picked me up from the cruise ship dock and took me back, and it was just a wonderful Rotary experience. Now, the Rotary Club project that I sent you a little bit of information on is sort of my passion project. This is the thing that I started doing the cross-country tours with in August of 2013, and it has just never stopped. After that first year's tour, I came back to my board and I told them about all the successes of it, and I said, I really don't care whether you guys decide to continue this or not, because I'm going to do it on my own if you say no, because it just was so much fun and it was so successful. It furthered our project so much, just that one cross-country trip and all the contacts that we made and all the things that I feel like we did that we wouldn't have had the opportunity to do over the telephone or email. I really think that Rotary is not necessarily pushing the face-to-face contact, the pressing the flesh, whatever terms you want to use, of the face-to-face contact that Rotary offers, that you really cannot substitute with any of our lovely technology. The purpose of the Gaia project, if you read any of the materials, is having to do with environmental stewardship and youth leadership programs. It's sort of a RILA meets adventure sports in a way, as far as the way that we conduct the actual learning experiences, and it's in the field, it's hands-on, it's not sitting in a classroom. We call it an outdoor classroom, and we're currently building our own facility on 40 acres on a ranch experience, kind of a destination service project that's going to be available in the spring of 2020, and then further out, 2023, we actually have a contract on 130 acres on 3/4 of a mountain in North Idaho that we're going to be building out for this same purpose. Now, the Gaia Destination Service projects themselves is basically a experiential learning. There's a couple of different ways that we're doing this, a couple of different avenues. One is a destination service project that's meant for Rotarians and other people to come and experience with their kids, usually teenagers, where they get to have a life experience for an entire week with no internet, no cell phones, no television, and they really get to deeply involve themselves emotionally, spiritually, with, working on the land and everything with their families, and they actually learn about each other, sometimes for the first time. And it's really an interesting experience. We've done a couple of pilot projects already, and to kind of flesh out the program, and it's really it's been called life-changing by a few of these students and even the families. And then the other fork of that is we do this for some of the veteran families or serving military families, that the children are actually away from one of the parents, usually one of the parents that are deployed on active military duty, and sometimes they don't see them except for maybe a few weekends or something like that, sometimes for years. And so that becomes a whole healing experience, more so than a bonding experience with regard to depression or PTSD or whatever that particular vet is going through with his family or her family. And then the other more scientific, the more geeky part of what we're doing is the water resource and forestry program, and that's also a 1-week program. The opportunity for clubs and individuals to get involved is starting out as early as next month with community projects. We identify a need with you and your club in not necessarily our e-club, but I mean local clubs, with a local club in their community, and they partner with the Gaia Project. We help them assemble the local resources that they need, get support from Team Gaia, implement the program, and the 5-way test, the 5th one, is have fun. And then, of course, the fundraising aspect. We can help them do fundraising and grants, and they basically get to keep half the money for their own club projects if they want to, or they can put the whole 100% of it towards the Gaia Project, but 50% is all that's required. Anybody have any questions? You have to unmute yourself if you do. What did I do? I made my screen black. Anybody?
I think it would be nice. I think it would be nice to thank you for all you're doing for Rotary and the clubs and the membership and RILA. That's a serious involvement.
Yeah, that's why I have the 100% attendance. I would love to involve the E-Club of Motorcycling Rotarians at some point, maybe even as early as next summer, in coming up to the property and doing a fellowship event of our own there. But I don't know if North Idaho is someplace that would be a destination that would be attainable. But then again, you're talking about Alaska, so I guess it is.
How about someplace in South Dakota?
Well, we can set up an encampment there, but we don't own property in South Dakota.
I don't know. It sounded a little bit more central.
Although I do love Wall Drugstore.
If you've never been there, it's like Las Vegas. You can describe it till you're blue in the face, but until you've actually been there, the description doesn't do it justice.
Well, I have been there, and I fell in love with it.
And I could say the same thing about Disney World. You can describe that until you're blue in the face, and you'll not do it justice. You have to be there in person.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And I was able to go to the grand opening of Star Wars Land in Anaheim in May, and that too is absolutely indescribable.
I was never in Disneyland.
Well, you'll have to come for one of our Hollywood parties there one time.
But I have more time now, exactly. I'm only 7 years in the United States, so I think it's a little bit time to go there.
Yeah, we'll give you a little time yet.
Yeah, thank you. But thank you for your presentation.
Oh, you're welcome.
Mhm. You know, I was working with my husband so I've been here 7 years, but in the Rotary, I worked also 7 years. I didn't speak the language, but I was on the first RILA event, you know, or RILA camp in our district.
Right.
And my husband was chair for that, I think, the last 4 years. So the first year I was a photographer because I couldn't talk so much, you know. And I had a different kind of jobs inside. And now, of course, I know the RILA camp very well. We make that only over a weekend. But I know, you know, how much impact you have over the weekend and with the right speakers and the right program. And it's really impressive to see how the kids are acting and, you know, getting closer together. And we met so many RILA kids as well later. So when we was traveling or whatever, you know, and they see the Rotary pin at my husband's, you know, level. And there was a lot of people, they came from RILA and all over the world. It's really a very nice program. I really like that.
Yeah, and you can see the transformation so dramatically, right?
Yeah, you can.
Well, you enjoyed quite the Rotary experience, I would imagine, with your husband as district governor, no?
Yeah, he was district governor in the year I came over, so 2012, 13. And he gave me 2 weeks. And I told you, the 2 weeks, you know, to get climatis. And then he brought me to the meetings, and I was sitting in the meetings, and sometimes I had the feeling, you know, there's a CD going in my head, and you know, because it was sometimes, yeah, but this was my first experience with Rotary, so 2 weeks after I arrived in Texas, so funny. And now I'm a member, you see.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I think the E-Club works really well for you and for me because we don't have to zero in on one specific club, and it feels like a conflict of interest if you join one club and then, you know, the neighboring club says, hey, how come you joined them and not me? And, yeah. And for me, it works really well because of all the traveling.
Yeah, that was the problem because when, you know, when my husband actually told our district, oh, she's a Rotarian now. Everybody thought I'm a Rotarian because I organized so much, but you know, I said, no, I'm not. I'm only a spouse, you know. And then they said, yeah, but why you are not a Rotarian? And everybody was like, oh, you can come to this club or to this club. And I said, no, but motorcycle is really my passion. So I'm very happy to found this club, and I can join that. And you see, we're making a ride together, guys.
That's right. Jumping right in.
Very happy to do that and to host you, and hopefully I can show you something from my new world, Texas.
Awesome. Boy, what a quiet bunch we have today.
Yes.
We usually a little more rambunctious.
So maybe I can say something more about the ride in Texas.
Yes, absolutely.
Coming up in March, because now we are all together. You know, the thing is right now that I found a place. You can have your tent, you can have your RV, you can have a cabin, or you can have a room. It's not for everybody fitting. This is why James, for example, he booked a hotel 12 miles away. But you know, I think this is a good place. It's not in the city because they have a motorcycle rally at the same weekend. We stay there, and it's not good to stay in the city because the town is so small. You wouldn't sleep, you know, because it's all the night. It's party over there, and so we are a little bit outside on a ranch. you can book for your own as well, but there's I asked a motel what it's not that bad, and they said they have not enough rooms for us, but they are really in the middle of everything, and I'm sure you don't want to be there because then you cannot sleep in the night. It's easy to go to all the events, that's for sure, but sleeping, I think, is also a very important part. But
Yeah, I would agree.
on this ranch, you can go in tent on the river or close to the river. They have a special RV park. They have cabins. They have rooms. They have what it looks like a very good breakfast also. So, and you can book a lot more. You can make horse riding if you like to do that, or this is my plan, not horse riding, to look in the area because it's a very big area. Every day a different thing, and one day we want to make the Twisted Sisters for sure. And I would like to do that before, maybe on Friday, before the rally starting, because then this area is full with motorcycles, and that's not fun, I think. So, but it's nice to have, to go in the evening to the rally, look a little bit over the place, check the place out, and then go back to the ranch. You can make a barbecue over there. We can join together. And I think the fellowship, this is the most important part of an event like this. I invited, of course, people of our district as well. So our district is ending in Branham, so this is not a district. But, I'm sure I invited some people. They are not Rotarians. I hope they will come so we can make them to Rotarians. And my husband is the director of the fellowship in the South. So he will be there as well. And we want to make some, promotion as well. So it fits together very well for us both. And it's like, Rory and Judy have, we are also a couple would ride, both of them riding, and that it's, a lot of fun also. But what we need when you are interested on the ride, it's from the 26th of March to the 29th of March. You can stay longer, you can stay shorter, whatever. But this is the time what I ask the hotel, and they will block us the rooms for next week, but we have to make the payment. I already make my payment at Monday. So because of the motorcycle rally, the rooms are going that quick, This is why it's important to make it very fast.
Can you send an email with that, or have you already?
Yes, I sent it to Linda and Brian, and they put it on the newsletter, so you can see everything.
Oh, okay. I just didn't read that yet. Okay.
So, and I see you twice now, Linda. I'm on the Motorcycle Rotarians and for yourself. Funny. So, but what is important is, that if you have something, I can ask them. There's no question we cannot find out, but I have to know it very fast, because otherwise they will book the rooms, who need that. So if you have an RV, I think it's also necessary to tell that early, because I think there's a lot of people coming also with an RV, but I think it's not a problem with a tent, what Harold want to do. So we will see. If everybody heard something from Harold, because North Carolina or South Carolina is impacted from the storm as well, from the hurricane.
Well, and Paul McAfee is down there now too.
He's up in North Carolina, but the storm hasn't really got to Harold. You can see the storm right behind me, and it's not that bad yet. I'm down about 100 miles south of Harold.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it's supposed to be here in about an hour. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's not going to be that bad where I am. But I think Harold will get it worse, but.
I press both thumbs, because it don't impact you.
I'm waiting till tomorrow morning. We're supposed to go camping this weekend, but I'll wait till tomorrow morning to see exactly what it's going to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My brother-in-law is living in North Carolina, New Bern, so we are watching that as well. So, yeah. So come to Texas, but I need to know that soon, please.
Uta,
Yeah.
How many miles are you planning on riding in Texas, all total?
Who's talking? Bruce is
Bruce.
Hi, it's Bruce. I don't know how many miles that exactly. The Twisted Sisters ride is only, I was not believing it, around 100 miles a day. So I'm a long rider normally. So I have no problem with 400 miles, per example.
Good.
But,
Yeah.
yeah, but I know not everybody can do that. So we can have like a sightseeing course if you like, and we can have some really, serious ride if you like that. No problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You coming down?
I would like to, but I'm not sure I can make that decision right away.
Yeah, but Jerry told me he booked already one room and he sent the check over, and he have a double room with another bed inside. And James have in this other hotel also a bed open. So right now, if you are, short term, that you say, okay, not yet, but maybe in the last minute, we have one minimum open. I will keep you informed. I will tell.
Super, thanks.
That we have one room minimum. And Bruce told, Jerry told also he want to come a little bit earlier. Maybe he come down to us and then we will go together up there. It's 267 miles from us, where I'm living. And it's more south. I'm living close to the Gulf of Mexico.
You guys are all sleeping today.
Yes.
I know. That's what I said.
I said that, yeah. I don't even know what time we have right now.
Quarter done.
It was a short presentation, Lisa.
I know. I was feeling a little rushed because we were starting so late, but I guess I shouldn't have rushed through it, huh?
Yeah. But maybe you have an idea how we as a club can get involved in your project.
Well, it depends on what the club members want to do with their local on-the-ground Rotary clubs, because that's where I think an e-club has a really good, powerful, entree into the community in a lot of different cities all at once, instead of, regular ordinary Rotary Club is only in one area, right? And we're in all different kinds of cities and countries, so.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to meet up with Dita?
You mean me?
Yeah, you, Uta.
No, he's going
No.
over California, but we are in contact because of the language for sure. He's
Yeah.
coming from an area. It's only an hour away from my area, so we really.
I thought he was coming through Oklahoma at one point.
Yeah, but
No.
I'm in Houston.
No.
I'm not in Oklahoma.
He ended up going across Washington, down through Idaho to Utah to Nevada, and then over to California, and he's in Baja now.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
So we have contact over the internet, yes, and he feels very comfy in Mexico. I can't believe it, but it is. But
Did he meet a lot of Rotarians down there?
he's only 1 or 2 days now in Mexico. He had not that much time, so.
Uh-huh.
But he is still on the way, and he's enjoying it. So that's fine.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
Contact, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, y'all are too quiet.
The silence is deafening.
I'm doing a little research on a ride at the end of next May, centered around Johnson City, Tennessee. I'm not ready to announce it yet, but I'm going to swing through there at the end of this month and do a little reconnaissance. So,
Riding area up in that area.
huh?
Great riding country up in that area.
Yeah, I went through there. I went to an event a month or two ago, and I did the snake and all that stuff. It was pretty nice. So
Did you get to ride Bristol Speedway?
I did the tour of Bristol Speedway, but they were doing some maintenance on the track, so we couldn't do the full angle. We could only go up like halfway.
In the vehicle or in your bike?
No, in the vehicle, they didn't allow the bikes that day. So it was an interesting tour.
Yeah, Carlton got us a guided tour around that. We got to ride the bikes on the track itself.
Nice. Yeah, we got to go up in the skybox. It was pretty impressive.
Never seen that area, but we're planning to go over Thanksgiving to Florida, and very interesting this will work out because I'm not sure, how the part looks where we have to go. We have to go to Naples. Naples? Yeah.
I think I can wait a few minutes. We're about to end this meeting.
What?
Naples is very nice. It's a nice area on the west coast of Florida.
Yes. But what I'm interesting is, how it looks about after the heavy storm, that is.
Oh, this storm isn't affecting them at all.
Not Naples, but on the way, we have to go the way because we go with the motorcycles. We go from here to Naples. It's around 1,150 something miles we go with the bikes. So I hope it not looks like a moon area over there because all the trees are, wrapped on and whatever.
No, unless there's another storm, it'll be fine.
Is there still a big red tide problem down there?
There is some kind of algae in the water. It's in the Gulf of Mexico, I think.
Yeah. I heard about that, but I didn't know if it was still there.
So it's going to Mexico. Looks like it's going to Mexico. So I hope
They're not supposed to jelly
we're not affected. It's no danger for us.
Linda, I think I put everybody to sleep.
Is Jerry on that Ontario ride? Is that where he is, or is that already over?
I think
No, it's next week.
Oh, next week. Okay.
It's next week, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like that would be fun.
Yeah, Bruce promises me there's not going to be any rain.
Good from Bruce.
Last time he did a ride, it rained. It poured. So he's promised.
Do we have a money back guarantee on that?
No.
But this guy calls Rainmaker, right?
Yeah, my last trip in Canada, I ended up with a 10-penny nail in the back tire.
Oh, okay.
So I'm taking my plug-in kit with me.
Good approach. Do you have a pump too?
Pardon?
Do you have a pump too, air pump?
No, not yet. I think Jack had one. Riding with Jack.
I have one, Rory, so I'll look after you.
I was going to say, we're going over to Jack and Donna's on Thursday and then meeting up with Bruce on Friday. So Jack has a pump, I'm sure.
Yeah, I have one too.
Okay.
I carry a pump. I just put new tires on and new brakes, so I'll be ready.
Oh, my tire only had 2,000 miles on it when we got the nail in it.
Is that for the Ontario ride you're going on?
Pardon?
Are you going on the Ontario ride?
Yeah.
I was just looking at the Johnson City ride. That's only 214 miles from where I live. I have to go to that. So you said that May?
End of May, yeah. I think it's going to be the weekend after Memorial Day. I'm going to set it up for the 28th, probably till that Sunday or Monday.
Right.
Camera's back on, by the way, so let me know. I'll link it
Chris?
So what you said is in the middle, what Tom said, it's Nebraska, right? Or what is in the middle?
Nope, they're not watching me read.
What is in the middle from, we have members from Canada, and I think the most south in Houston, or south of Houston. So what is in the middle?
Well, you got Oklahoma, Nebraska, you've got Kansas underneath Nebraska.
I think
and then
Tom
South,
mentioned
South Dakota.
South
But
Dakota.
Kansas is something like, how you call it, Tornado Valley or something?
Tornado Alley.
So maybe we have to make an event in the little bit more closer, for everybody. So, not everybody have to come to Texas, and we not have to.
Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah, maybe, that would be good for next year, maybe. I don't know. What is the time? Tell me there so I can check mileage.
Yeah, I think you got to look for somewhere that has good motorcycle riding.
No, tell me a time. I want to know how many miles in the between.
Tornado Alley is super, super flat.
What was it?
What, Tornado Alley?
Is that the town?
No, Tornado Alley is a whole region. It covers several states.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, but what is in the middle between a nice place in the middle to meet and have a good fellowship time? Exactly.
Colorado, I'd say, northern Colorado.
I concur.
How many miles are that? Can you check that?
Depends where you are.
Yeah.
Or Taos, New Mexico. That's a nice spot. My son lives there.
New Mexico is nice as well. I was there in Albuquerque, so that's beautiful.
And Taos is a beautiful area.
It's a nice ride from Santa Fe to Taos.
Yeah.
Rocky Mountain National Park in northern Colorado.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
But maybe we can make that we make every year a different place where we can meet each other. It's depending on the time of the year for sure. But in summer it's too hot to come over here, so maybe in the middle of the summer it's good somewhere up there.
We'll have an E-Club conference.
Yes.
Well, you can always do a virtual E-Club conference too.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jerry has talked me into trying to do a ride next summer here in Colorado out of Breckenridge, and 5 different directions we can go, and each direction's got beautiful riding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Not that far from me too. I have to only go from Texas to New Mexico to Colorado, right?
Uh-huh. Exactly.
I did that one time because we was in New Mexico in Albuquerque. And then you can see the mountains of Colorado.
If you went from Texas, you'd probably come to Denver and west on I-70, which is it'd be about west of Denver. But you also probably coming from Texas would rather come a more scenic route through New Mexico and
Come up
through
I-25.
Alamosa, the Gun Barrel, so forth.
Come up I-25 from Albuquerque up through.
Yeah.
Oh, what about Pikes Peak?
I like more the back road. I don't want to go over an hour. That is if you have no time, but I like to make the way to a target, So.
Well, I have a state park in Colorado. It's called Muller State Park.
Really?
And Pikes
Yes,
Peak
really.
will be open until 2020, I believe, all the way to the summit. We were just there a few weeks ago.
In Muller State Park?
No, Pikes Peak.
Oh, okay.
14,110 feet elevation.
Yeah, the summit is closed. They're rebuilding it, so you have to get off at I think it's about like 12,000.
I think
Right.
Rocky Mountain National Park has higher elevation than that.
Then you could do Mount Evans. There's a beautiful ride.
That is true.
Ask Rory and Judy how much they like it.
Rory did. I hated it. I was scared to death.
You gotta like steep, narrow, curvy roads, and because it's in a national park, they aren't allowed to fix the roads any more than they currently are, and it's an interesting ride. You got to hang on.
What was scary for you, Judy?
I don't like heights.
Okay.
And it was one of these things.
Yes.
And there were RVs on it. There were other motorcycles. There were hikers. There were people on bicycles all over the road, and it's very narrow, and it was terrible.
There's a lot of hairpin turns going up and down.
Oh,
But
I
look at the
hated it.
mountain. Look at the mountain goats. Also, there's a big rotary wheel at the top.
yes, there is. Once you get up to the top, it's great. It's a beautiful view. It's gorgeous. But then you got to go down too. So no, I won't do it again.
You get just outside the park, and you get that great big pie.
Yeah, that's true.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I have a friend in Germany, and he brought us to North Italy, and there is a pass. It's called Soncola, and it's so narrow. When you're going up, you have to be careful that you don't. When you take the curve, that you don't have to put the feet down because it's so narrow. And I was crying. I was complaining. I was, completely, because you're going through tunnels and there was not even light inside. It was so small. There was no light inside. It was really horrible. And when I arrived at the end, it was like, but, on the one side it was a wall with the stones. On the other side it goes down very fast, and very deep. And I was really scared about that. And at the end, he said, okay, what you are complaining? You made it, right? You not even put the feet down. So what's wrong? And I said, okay. It was one of my experience about that. So I totally understand what you are talking about. Uh-oh.
Oh, I didn't mute myself. So we're at 8 o'clock.
The witching hour.
You're fine.
Bye, Rob.
Hasta la bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Folks. Next week.
Okay. Well,